The truth is, we kind of broke the rules in a bunch of ways.
We're suddenly able to build things that we couldn't even imagine for most of human history.
Why do we exist? What are we trying to accomplish? And how do we want to do that work together?
Forget the phrase AI and think about how are you going to make this human being's day better?
So I think we're going to see unprecedented creativity.
From a company formation perspective, it is an unbelievably exciting time.
Welcome to a new episode of Business Meets Live. We are live in Shanghai, and I have my new good friend, Peter from Finland with us. How are you today?
I'm great. Always good to be in Shanghai.
I can imagine. So Peter is the founder of Slush. And as you can see here, we're actually at Slush, now called Estron here in Shanghai. Tell us a little bit about how did you start Slush? I mean, it's worldwide, so well known.
Yeah, I mean, Slush is now the biggest and best startup event on the planet, and it takes place every November in Helsinki, in Finland. And actually, we started Slush not to make it, like the biggest and best event that it has become, but we actually started Slush to change the mindset towards entrepreneurship, towards startups. And the background is that in 2007, so a long time ago, I gave a talk at Aalto University about my entrepreneurial journey, my experiences. I was talking about startup entrepreneurship and what it is and what it means, to be an entrepreneur. And I talked to 600 students at Aalto University. Yeah. And as I mentioned, 2007. And then I asked the students, during my talk that, okay, how many have thought about, starting a company or joining a startup once you graduate or even before, which is okay.
What did they say?
In 2007, out of 600 students, only three raised their hand. Everybody else, wanted to go and work for, Nokia, Kone, Wärtsilä, or the big corporations or like even the government. And I always say that there's nothing wrong with that. But if everybody just wants to work for, the big guys and, get a nice job that pays well and all of that, then, we're only maintaining the status quo. And that is super bad. Then we'll become Japan. So basically, it's very, very important that we remember what happened to the dinosaurs, not around anymore. I'm not saying that all corporations or governments are dinosaurs, but there is a bit of a correlation there. We know that the small furry animals took over the planet. So we need more small furry animals, more startups. So the reason we started Slush was that, okay, only 3 out of 600 wanted to start a company. So we had to do something. So then together with a few friends, we started Slush in 2008. Wow. And basically first Slush, 300 people showed up, so very small. And I invited...
That's a good start.
It's a good start. I always say, that. And I think also Stron here now in Shanghai, it's a good start, with a few thousand people and everything. But with Slush, from the beginning, the mission, we're on, it's really about getting people more excited about entrepreneurship, getting excited about starting companies, starting new things, and, fundamentally changing the world. That's what it's all about.
Wow. Now, what do you think differentiates your concept of Slush from other similar like tech, innovation, or startup conferences? Like in Munich, we have the Bits and Pretzels. We also had like a Barack Obama and like some big startup investor, an entrepreneur speaking there. But
I think that with most of the events, what it's all about, it's about events. And with Slush, it's not about the event. The Slush event, it's just kind of like a tool, a means to an end. So we set out to change the mindset, and events are great because we bring people together. We can share, ideas and thoughts and approaches. So that was kind of like the whole idea. And also what is different with Slush, that the world is full of these, what I would call wannabe Silicon Valley events.
Yeah.
And now that we're in China, I always share the story. I was in Beijing at a startup event, and then I was told that, Peter, Beijing, Silicon Valley of China. And, the following day I went to Hangzhou, home of Alibaba and NetEase and Wahaha, many like success stories. And then I was told that, Peter, Hangzhou, Silicon Valley of China. And then, wherever you go, any of these startup events, they are all, Silicon Valley of this, Silicon Valley of that.
Yes.
I mean, if you go to Berlin, you have like, the Silicon Alley, and you have, I don't remember what you have in Munich, but probably have some Silicon stuff there. Yes. I was in Dar es Salaam a couple of weeks ago. They have Silicon Dar. That's a stretch of road where all the tech companies are. So everybody wants to be Silicon Valley of this, Silicon Valley of that.
Got it.
And Silicon Valley, fantastic place. I mean, that's where I started my entrepreneurial journey. I started at the original tech startup, the company that Bill and Dave started in their garage.
HP?
Yes.
I used to work for HP.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So then
That's how
what
I
I'm
came
talking
to
about.
Finland and worked in for
Fantastic.
HP.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So I started there. And, HP, the company that Bill and Dave started in that famous garage in 1939. So I always say before my time, before your time.
Too.
Yeah. And that garage, I mean, it's still there.
Yes.
And everybody should go and check it out because
I saw it too.
I had the chance to meet with Bill and Dave when they were still around. And they were fantastic entrepreneurs because not only did they start HP in that famous garage, but they started Silicon Valley. That's the birthplace of Silicon Valley. It's the first national or historical landmark of Silicon Valley.
The open door policy.
All of that stuff. Yes, everything came from there. And anyway, so the thing is that Silicon Valley, fantastic place, no doubt about that. I mean, after Bill and Dave, then Intel got started, Apple got started. A few years later, Sergey and Larry, just like Bill and Dave, they met at Stanford. Their professor suggested that, hey, why don't you start a company? And they did. And Sergey and Larry, they also met at Stanford. And then they went to, not Palo Alto, but to Susan Wojcicki's garage in Menlo Park. And Google happened. So the Silicon Valley model, very simple. You meet at Stanford or Berkeley, you go to your garage, magic happens. That's how Silicon Valley. So, HP, Google, you name it. But anyway, the world is full of these, what I would call wannabe Silicon Valley events, wannabe Silicon Valley locations. So with Slush, we decided that we organize Slush in Helsinki in November. And when you come to Helsinki in November...
Oh, it's very dark, very depressing.
Yeah.
Dark clothes.
Yeah, it's cold, it's dark, and there is slush on the ground. So it's not the Silicon Valley. It's better. It's much, much better because it's different. And then you might ask, how is it different? It's different because Slush, the biggest and best startup events that attracted over 3 trillion, 3,000 billion in venture capital last time. Biggest gathering of venture capital any given time, anywhere on the planet.
Wow.
Helsinki, Finland. The whole thing is run by young people. We put young people in charge. So 1,600 young people from more than 60 countries, they make Slush happen every year. And they are there, not because somebody told them to be there, but they are there because they want to be there, they love to be there. And you can feel that when you come to Slush, that it's, the passion, the energy, the drive. And that is what makes Slush different. So as I said, cold and dark and slush on the ground, not the Silicon Valley. Better, much, much better because it's different and it really is different.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing this. I mean, having lived in Finland, I'm a big fan, of course, of Finland and Finnish people. And to be honest, I'm so proud, because I sometimes give guest lectures at French business schools or other business schools here. From Suzhou, I actually have 12 students.
Have you been to the Finland Cafe in Suzhou?
No. Oh, yeah. He started the Nokia in Suzhou.
But he came from Iran and he became Finnish. So that's what we do in Finland. We accept people from different places, different locations. So we believe in this thing called equality. We don't discriminate based on age or gender or nationality or like whatever. And this is something that is very important. In Finland, we believe that young people are people too. That's why we put young people in charge. They make Slush happen.
Yeah. And it makes sense. So yeah, that's why I'm so proud of 12 of these students from Suzhou schema. They came here.
Cool.
And even like from the Shanghai Business School from SK.
Nice.
So let's go back to startup ecosystems.
Yes.
Because you started, you have Slush in like Helsinki. You have it in Tokyo, Japan. In China, you have it in Shanghai. You said Hangzhou, Beijing, Nanjing, Chengdu, and so on. You even did Singapore.
Yeah.
What are the differences between these different startup ecosystems?
Yeah, I think that the big difference, if I look at, why Slush became the biggest and best startup event on the planet, it's again, comes back to the fact that young people, we put young people in charge. Most of these other places, we brought Slush there so young people would have an opportunity to make things happen. I mean, if you've been to Japan, if you are a young person, you don't have gray hair or like no hair at all.
It's very difficult.
You are you are nothing. You can never be at the same level as the old people. And it's even built into the language. And I think that this is what I see everywhere, that people always say the right thing. Yeah, we put young people in charge. I mean, you go to, you could go to Lisbon and there's apparently like some, event taking place there every year. And then, you look at that and there might be some young people, but they're there, handing out badges and they're not in charge. They are not like, like running the show. And if you ask the young people there, do you feel like this is your event, that you are, building something of significance? Then they will tell you, no, I'm just here handing out badges. Okay, not to, again, not appreciate handing out badges. That's an important job, but maybe there are other skills that you need, to build a startup. So with Slush, you join Slush as a young volunteer. You do that for a year, 2, 3 years. You learn how to build the biggest and best startup event on the planet. And after that, you go out and you build the biggest and best startups. So all of Slush is about learning by doing. You learn.
It's not just one event. It's like a longer term or medium term.
Totally. And then, you learn how to do this and then you go out and you deliver. And that's why, if you look at the finest Bay Area, Finland, Estonia, Sweden, highest number of startups per capita. Highest number of unicorns per capita.
I didn't know.
Highest number of venture capital, highest amount of venture capital invested into local startups per capita.
Wow, I didn't know.
Globally, nobody knows. But it's because of Slush and the whole youth-led ecosystem that we built. And this is the model that we want to take to the rest of the world. We want to give young people everywhere the opportunity to make stuff happen. And what I always say is that it's the job of us, slightly older people, to make sure that we keep all people and governments out of the way while the young people change the world.
I absolutely love that.
And even China.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really like that. So nowadays you have more than 70 different startups.
Yeah.
How are you, tell me a bit, how are you able to manage all of those?
Yeah, I don't. So, I mean, I, of course, can't manage, that many companies. But I'm an angel investor, advisor, board member, different roles. But these 70 where I'm actually, I invested myself. And I basically tend to get very hands-on, very involved, but then on, when needed kind of like basis. And then it's really, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's very, very important that I focus on things that are easy for me and impossible, or at least very difficult for others to do. So then I'm doing the right things. Yeah. And that's really kind of like how I manage that. But then one thing that I think is very important here, that, okay, yes, working with 70 companies, but I mean, that's, like a good start. But now one thing that we have created, with Slush and with the whole ecosystem and the success, the highest number of startups, unicorns, and venture capital per capita, we need more. We need more talent. So this is something that's very important. And if you look at Finland, we're like the Japan of Europe. aging population, not enough young people. So 4 years ago we started Finest Future. We started teaching young people in Vietnam and Uzbekistan Finnish language, and fortunately Finnish is super easy to learn, so half a year. It's true.
Really?
You should know, you've been in Finland, so half a year you can learn it to this B1.1 level, which is good enough to apply to high school. So basically we are teaching young people now in more than 20 countries, including China, Finnish language and also Swedish, so we have 2 national languages. And once you learn the language to this B1.1 level, you can apply to high school or vocational school in Finland. So we're talking about 15, 16-year-old people here in China, in Vietnam, all over Asia, all over Africa, all over the Americas. You learn the language, and in return, we offer you tuition-free high school, tuition-free vocational school, tuition-free university. So you have an incentive to learn the language, because after that you will get the best education on the planet, tuition-free.
That is amazing. And you get all the talents in the country. Just so smart.
So we are building the highest talent density anywhere on the planet, and we believe that the ones with the talent will win. That would be us.
Amazing. I'm a big supporter.
Hey,
I
thank
love
you.
it. Now, I'd love to be a serial entrepreneur like you.
Yeah.
And many other people want to be entrepreneurs. Like, what would be the advice that you would give us?
Yeah, I think that
that we can achieve it.
But I think that you just need to go out there and start doing things. So I think entrepreneurship is all about doing. For me, entrepreneurs, definition is simple. Entrepreneurs are people who do things. Entrepreneurship is all about doing, and learning by doing is the most effective way of learning. So I always say that don't think, do, think. And what I mean by that is that we shouldn't overanalyze and think about, but this might fail and will this work and blah blah blah. But we should just go out there, do things, we will learn. It's a little bit like learning how to walk. So it's not like we decide when we're kids or babies that we one day we decided, okay, today I'm gonna walk, and then we stand up and then we start walking. No, we try to get up, we fall, we try to get up and we fall many times, and then eventually we figure out and we learn how to walk, run, everything. And being an entrepreneur is a little bit like that. You shouldn't expect to be successful day one. Your first company or your first product. You have to try, and again, this is the learning by doing. You try to get up, you fall, you try to get up, you fall, and then eventually you will figure it out. And I think that this is really, kind of like this kind of Nordic walking thing. But yeah, you have to kind of like learn how to walk, and then, and the good news is that all of us have learned how to walk, so you will.
Very great advice. You just mentioned the word successful.
Yeah.
Many people think success is, hey, I'm a millionaire, for example.
Right.
What's your definition of success? And then also I'm going to ask you, what's your definition of happiness?
Yeah.
Because actually, Finland is the number one country.
7 years in a row.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Not a coincidence.
Not Denmark anymore, right?
Yeah.
I studied about the science of happiness, and that's how I actually quit with HP, stopped my job,
good,
and started my own company, because I found my purpose in life.
Very good.
And
that's actually what it's all about.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So first is happiness, and actually then you also have better chances to become successful.
Yes.
What's your definition of success and happiness?
Yeah, so first of all, I think that it's the advice that I gave to Niklas, Kim and Jarno once they won this game making competition that I organized while at HP and running this HP Bazaar program.
Okay.
And they won this game making competition. They were students at Aalto, and then after winning the game making competition, they came to me and asked, Peter, we won this competition, we are students here at Aalto, what should we do now? And I said, very easy, you should do what you love to do, making games. So why don't you start a company to start making games? So they started Rovio in 2003 to do what they love to do, games. And then it took 6 years, 51 games, and then 11th of December 2009, 52nd game Angry Birds came out.
I was about to say Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But the point here is that they
and you were there in the foundation?
yes, and they started doing what they love to do, you know, making games, and that's very very important here. That's you know like how that success story started. So my advice, you know, for you to be happy is of course to do what you love to do. So you have to have, and I think this is for like Gen Z and like you know young people, that you have to have purpose. You have to have things that you do that have a meaning, you know, that it's not just, oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money. I mean, that's not, for most people, fortunately, it's not good enough. It also, yeah, it's of course you should make lots of money, but it should also be, you know, for advancing, you know, like the common good and making, you know, the world a better place and like all of these things. That's super, super important. So, so I think that it's kind of like very difficult to then untangle that, okay, this and then, you know, like happiness and whatever. But then I think, you know, if you look at now Finland, okay, absolutely right, 7 years in a row, happiest nation on the planet. And I get asked that, okay, why? And I think one very important thing, freedom. We provide everybody in Finland with the freedom to pursue happiness. We let people be themselves.
Yes.
This is something that's very important. I was actually in Chengzhou with Queenie, one of our high school students from Chengzhou, and she was sharing her experiences after her first year of high school in Keuru in Finland, and she said that she's so happy in Finland. First of all, the teachers, you know, treat her as like a real person, even though she's young and a high school student. So they treat her, you know, like everybody else. She's equal, so she loves that. And then she says that there is this little thing called freedom, that she can dye her hair any color she likes, she can dress any way she likes, and nobody will tell her not to. And they will not comment on her blue hair or, you know, funny clothes or whatever. So I think that this is very, very important, that people can be what they want to be. Then education, I mean, very close to my heart. I think that very important thing as part of this freedom and the opportunity to pursue happiness is that we provide everybody, not just a few, with fantastic education. So you have the opportunity to go out there, build your startup, build your career, build your family. You know, it's very, very important that we provide everybody with equal opportunity. So I think this is really important, that you feel that you can go out there, you can do stuff, and this is very, very important. So I think that it's a combination of many things, but fact remains, Finland, happiest nation on the planet, 7 years in a row. So we must be doing something right.
Yes, keep it up. I have two more important questions before we're going back to Estron. Well, I think for the education also, the Germans helped a little bit, right? We gave a bit of like inspiration for the Finnish
actually,
right?
we actually used the biggest and most international university actually used to be in a place called Salla in Finland, and we had 120,000 students. This was in the 1940s. Unfortunately, we had some disagreement, and then the university was closed down. And most of the students were actually not from Finland, but they were from Germany. So we have a long tradition in education also in some more challenging times. So absolutely we have to thank our German friends for building the biggest and most international university back in the day.
Good teamwork, right? Okay,
absolutely.
My last two questions. Tell us a little bit more about the future projects you're working on right now. And mergers and acquisitions.
Actually, one thing that I've mentioned is Finest Future project, that, you know, like teaching young people in 20 countries Finnish and Swedish and bringing them to Finland. I think it's the coolest thing I've ever done, because the young people are so happy in Finland. And what is super cool is that Sakari and Milan, they came to high school in Salla. You know, northern Finland, it's actually in the middle of nowhere. That's the slogan of Salla. So it's a small community, less than 3,000 people up there in northern Finland, right next to the border with evil. That will not be mentioned. But anyway, we have a long border with Evil, and anyway, they came there for high school, and they learned, so well. They performed so well that they actually then got accepted to Aalto University. They did their bachelor's at Aalto University, and now they started a company called Mimikit, and it's actually AI-powered dance school in your pocket. So you can download your favorite video from Douyin, TikTok, and then you can repeat the moves, and the Mimikit application will tell you how you did, and will teach you how to do that particular dance. But and then in the spring we started this Finance Love VC. So we are investing in companies like this. Companies created by these young people who came to Finland for high school, stayed for university, stayed to start their startup. Wow. So that's something that I'm super excited about, because we expect to see thousands and thousands of young people like Sakari and Milan, coming to Finland, high school, staying for university, building their company, building their families.
So impactful.
And what is super cool about this Mimikit company that Sakari and Milan started, that they hire then people from Lithuania, from Poland, from France. So the only Finnish people in the company are Sakari and Milan, and they are not even Finnish originally. So it's so cool, and
so international.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, totally.
Wow, all the best on this. Okay, last important questions. Yes. For all the people who want to become and get the inspiration from who you are, I love the mindset. I love the way how you are thinking, how you have started all your projects, and very often people have specific routines, habits, morning, evening habits. I don't know, what is it that made you, or that makes you so successful or so happy, that hopefully we can also start doing this?
I think that I've never had any difficulty to motivate myself to do things. So I really enjoy doing things, and then also I really believe that there are very, very few things that actually are impossible. And if somebody will tell me that it's impossible, then I will just have to go out there and prove otherwise. So I think that we really need to have a bit of attitude and ambition, and we will do amazing. So that is what I would encourage everybody. And then also my advice always is that go out there and do what you love to do. That's the most important thing. So yeah,
attitude, ambition, and do what you love to do.
Yes,
love it. Thank you so much for your time, Peter.
Hey, thank you.
I hope to see you next time in Helsinki. I haven't been for a few years now.
Yeah.
So all the best. And guys, if you like today's session, please send it to your friends, to young and old. It doesn't matter to anybody. Subscribe, sharing is caring, and see you for the next episode. And start following Peter and come to his events as well.
Yeah, welcome to Finland. Your finest future is already there.
Woohoo!